Hey guys, this is Mike, Deep Pockets here. I just wanted to shoot a quick video inside of my trailer to kind of give you all an idea of organized chaos. 48 foot, 4-axle flatbed. I've got an 8-foot Conestoga. And if you are looking to buy a Conestoga and you're doing steel hauling, I strongly recommend you get a 7-foot Conestoga. This one is a little bit tall, and I have rubbed on a couple of doorways. And if you do rub a doorway, you're going to have to replace one whole panel from here all the way to there, from here up, over, all the way around, and down the other side. It's about a $1,300 repair. You don't want to do that. Ask me how I know. Yeah, if you notice, I got stuff laying all over the floor here. I do not pick up my chains or my J-hooks. I'll have my ratchet straps down in the rail there. That way when I'm ready for them, I just reach right down here. I need to change something. My chain's laying right here. I need a strap or a ratchet. I just reach right down here. Yeah. Ratchet's right where I need it. I don't have to walk all the way up front and hang them up and keep a pretty shiny deck clean for the DOT regs, because with this Conestoga, this is considered an enclosed trailer, enclosed box, compartment, however they word it. So, you know, it doesn't matter. And these J-hooks, I mean, you see they're just laying willy-nilly around the floor there. They're about where I need them when I haul specific loads, and I can just kick them around where I need them. And, you know, I'm a big guy. The more less I bend over, the better. I make my job as easy as possible, you know. I got my coil lumber here. What that doubles is it's coil lumber. At the same time, you know, it's got the beveled edge for hauling coils, but at the same time, I put two pieces across the floor when I'm hauling bars. You know, I'll put one across there in the middle, and then depending on the length of my bars, I might have one in the middle, and then if I'm hauling, say, 20-foot bars, then I'll go about 8 feet up and put another row, one in the middle, and then 8 feet back, put a row across here, so that I've got, you know, a couple feet hanging over, because when you're hauling bars, they loop a cable around the end of them to pick them up. So, you know, leave a little bit of overhang, but that way you never want material touching your deck. That is aluminum deck. Everybody, I mean, if you're in flatbed, you know, it's aluminum deck. You don't put stuff on the deck. If you do put stuff on the deck, you will come across situations, excuse the noise here. If you look right here, that is what happens if you put something on the deck that shouldn't be on the deck. Punctures. No bueno. No good. Don't do that. I haul steel, specifically steel, nothing but steel. I don't do general commodities or shingles or bricks or none of that. I specifically haul steel. And I carry 12 chains, 3/8 chains, not nice heavy ones. I'm not a wussy. I'm not going to get them, you know, little 5/16 lightweight chains and put 27 of them on a coil. It's just silly. Buy bigger chains. Some guys even go 1/2-inch chains. Those are big. You know, if you're doing heavy slabs, things like that, 1/2-inch chain wouldn't be a bad idea. But for what I do, you know, 3/8 works best. G70 rated standard chain. Then you got the front. This is the chaos. This is extra wood for layering in between coils. You know, my daughter just had to have a cat, so we bought a bunch of kitty litter for a garage cat. Well, those buckets work great. 5-gallon bucket from the store, whatever, doesn't matter. But holds my angle protectors. Well, you can see my lazy man seat on here. When I'm waiting to get loaded or unloaded, I can pop a couple of boards. That's my chair. Waiting on the forklift. Come on, boys, hurry it up. But yeah, you know, just angle protectors, those coil plastic ring protectors, you cut those in half. They make real good edge protectors, so you don't have to deal with individuals, because some of the loads I pull are, you know, they're maybe 7 coils. I've hauled as many as 12 coils on a load. You're going to use all your chains, all your edge protectors. You know, those are cheap and easy. You got rubber flaps. You know, you got all sorts of ways you can protect the coil. But I got a little more coil lumber here. I've got more layers in between for when they unload the bars with forklifts or whatever. You put a 4x4 in between the layers so they can get in with their forks, obviously. Little tool kit. That's just, let's see, kind of zoom in a little bit. Grease gun, oil, that little bottle right here. That little bottle right there, I got a little screw right through the lid, so it's got a single little hole in it, and that's what I use to my ratchets. You know, they sitting in the rail there. They start to get a little gummed up, and road salt, especially in the winter. I got to do about every 2 or 3 weeks. I got to oil them up, but you know, just give them a little squirt of oil on the threads, little squirt on the threads, and just one shot right there on the cogs, and that'll drain down into the little lever that flips to change the direction. Let me change the shot aspect, but yeah, the little little cog on the ratchet back and forth either way, but just leaks down in there and just keeps everything nice and moist so that it operates correctly. But yeah, I run 12 chains and 12 binders, and then I've got, sometimes y'all shotgun. I got my 3-inch straps up there, 3-inch portable straps. They got a 5,500 pound working load limit, so the chains are, I believe, 6,700 pounds, 65, 67. I think they're 67. Your chains are a little more than that, but the ratchets, I believe, are 67, and it goes off the weakest link. So if you've got ratchets that are weighted, WLL, working load limit, if they're 6,200 and your chain's 6,800, you don't get 6,800 pounds worth of securement. You get 62. Whatever your weakest link is, same with your J-hooks, whatever they're rated for. Of the 3 units, whichever's the smallest number, that's what you get for securement. But yeah, just miscellaneous stuff. Oil, grease gun for the I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, guys. I apologize. Just off the top of my head and speaking straight out, not thinking about it. Not scripted, completely unscripted. Sledgehammer, pry bar. Sometimes you get those chains every now and then. They'll go down in this J-hook track here on the floor right there. Those chain links will pop in that track and lock in there. And usually if your tracks are clean, you can just kind of grab a chain and do the little whoop, 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 and it'll pop right out of there. But sometimes if you get a little gravel, dirt build up in there, them boogers go down in there, and you got to use a screwdriver and hold your tongue just right and say 12 swear words and wiggle them just the right way, and they'll pop out of there. But real pain in the butt. Keep your tracks clean. Keep your tracks clean. Good idea. Blow them out, sweep them out, whatever. Coil racks. What else do I got here? Extra J hooks that I can't use. I loaned them out to a guy that needed a hand. He was getting started, so I loaned him some equipment that I had extra. And then he got out of the business, and I got the equipment back. Well, they're the big wide J hooks, and my trailer's an East MMX, which is the heavy East. 100,000 pound rails, because I haul heavy, so I need to be able to pick them 2 axles up in the middle and not break my trailer. Yeah, some pads, coil pads for, sometimes I don't want to throw a strap over the coil. I just want to grab a chain, so I grab a pad and throw it over the top of the coil, and then throw a chain over the coil just because it's faster and it's more readily available. And I don't have to walk through my junk here to get to my straps. Grab a pad and chunk them away. Usually nobody says too much about that, but yeah, that's what it is. This highly I cannot recommend enough that you get a Conestoga on your trailer if you're going to haul steel or stay in the steel industry. If you're not doing a lot of oversized loads, wide loads, long loads, if it's within the dimension of your 48-102 flatbed, or it can be a 48-98, whatever. But that Conestoga, they cost, last I checked, somewhere between $15,000 to $17,000 installed. And the reason they cost so much, honestly, in my opinion, it's because they're worth every daggone penny. These things are amazing. So fast. I'll load next to an open deck. He'll be throwing his tarp and hooking straps and unrolling this and unrolling that. And I just walk up front and grab my tarp and whoop, right to the back, tighten her up, gone. See ya. About 6-7 minutes, I'm out of here, Turn and burn, because I do a lot of shorter stuff. I don't go cross country. Heck, I don't leave 3 states. I stay right here around the Midwest, steel, what do they call that? The Rust Belt. But yeah, that's just kind of a quick video and give you an idea. Oh, it can pull loose from the front there, the tarp. If you zoom in here, you got a little ratchet cog wheel there, and it attaches up here, and it attaches down there. And you got a little socket head right there, and that's in that bucket over here. Got a little ratchet. I think you can see that silver handled ratchet there. I can just grab that and pop this tarp loose from the front, and I can pull the front to the middle or all the way to the back, or typically I just grab the back of the tarp and pull it all the way to the front, and then start loading, because obviously that's the first 7-8 feet of my deck. I just keep all my stuff piled right there, because my tarp, when I push it forward, stops right here. And I can load it right there. And usually I'm loading enough weight that, it puts plenty of weight up on my drives. I don't have to set stuff all the way up here. I'm setting something here that weighs, well, there's my landing gear mark there, and then there's my first axle. So, you know, I'm going to set a 40,000 pound coil right here. That's going to put plenty of weight up there on those drives. But yeah, that's what those marks are. That's landing gear, just so I know if I'm putting 2 coils, 40,000, 41, 42s, whatever, I'm going to set the first one right behind my landing gear, right either, you know, if you shotgun, it's going to be, you know, front here, and then the back's going to be about there, but it's going to sit right here. And then the second one, obviously, this line, actually, I don't even know why I painted that line. It confuses me sometimes, but this is my center point, the yellow line. That's the center. You know, if you got a single coil, you know, you just set her about 8 to 10 inches back from center, and then set her down, you're good to go. And then when you got 2, of course, I got axle number 2, and then axle number 3 right here. And then, of course, I don't mark the back. You know where the back axle is. But look at that. I got dirty. Didn't even try. It just jumps on you sometimes, I'm telling you. But yeah, if I'm hauling super heavy, like a pair of 40s or 41s, I'll put number 1 here between my landing gear and axle number 1. And then I'll put number 2 coil back here on this second axle and in front. So, you know, I'm not going to center it on the second axle. I'll go slightly to the front of that, but I'll put a 40, you know, say a 42 here and a 42 up yonder, and works like a charm, man. Spreads that weight right where you want it. You put all your axles down. I'm running, let's see, about 52 pounds in axle number 1. It's got a little air regulator in the box down there. I can show you that another time, but I can regulate axle 1 and 2 and put as much down pressure or as little as I want. I put about 52 on axle number 1, and axle number 2, I'm running about 55, 56, right in that area. And that puts, because with 4 axles in Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, you're allowed 18,000 per axle if they're a 10-foot spread. But in Michigan, if you cluster them, that's why you see a lot of trailers in Michigan that's got 8 axles, 7 axles, 6 axles. Well, if an axle is a cluster, you know, your standard tandem is a cluster, or you have a tridem, which is a cluster, those are 13,000 a piece. If you're over 80, Michigan has crazy ass laws. Oh, sorry, watch my mouth. Michigan has some crazy laws. If you're under 80,000 with a spread axle flatbed, you're allowed the 40,000 on the back 2. If you're under 80, you're allowed 20 and 20 on the back 2 axles, and then your standard, 34 and 12 on your drives and your steers. If you're 1 pound over 80,000, they roll your tandem axles back to 18,000 per, and the drives, I think they cut you back to 32. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure. But in Michigan, as a 10-foot spread, I'm allowed 18, 18, 18, 18. You know, so what's that? 472? But you do the math. I'm too tired to do math right now. But I'm allowed 18,000 per on all 4 axles. And then I believe it's 32, and then your standard 12 up there. But in Michigan, I can axle out about 120,000. Indiana and Ohio, you can only haul 120 unless you get some really specialized permits and escort vehicles and state police escorts and blah, blah, blah. You don't even want to go down that road. But, yeah, I can. That's the way I move stuff around, man. Typical load. What am I? 37, right at 37.2 empty weight, depending on my fuel level, of course. And I can haul roughly 83, just under 83. Low on fuel, I can fit 83.4, but, you know, as soon as I fuel up, I'm overweight, so you got to keep that in mind. But, yep, that's what it is. You got a little tripod here in the back. That's how the tarp stays tight. You got a little grease track here, and then your wedge there, triangle wedge, and it hooks into that little pole right there, and then you got a little bolt down here that drives that long shaft as a piece of all thread. And as you put your little whoop-a-doo handle here, you stick it on that bolt from the outside and crank it, and this is threaded, and it pulls that together, and that's what pulls your tarp tight. Pretty slick. And then you gotta, in order to keep this from flapping going down the road, you got a piece of metal in there that keeps it straight, and you got another piece of metal across there that keeps that straight, and it locks into a little track there. It's really good design, ingenious design. It will save you a ton of money, but If you're the type of person that is prone to snag something, like you turn the corner and you got the doorway a little bit, oh man, I scratched my trailer. No. In a Conestoga, you didn't scratch your trailer, you just ripped your panel and cost yourself $1,300. And on top of that, if it's a big rip, or if the rip goes, there's a seam on each one of these rollers here, there's a seam that this is one panel and this is another panel. And if you rip it down that seam like that, this tarp is completely unusable. You will not be able to go down the road like that. You'll shred your tarp. And that, I'm sure everybody's seen it. You see these big Conestogas, they got their tarp pushed all the way to the front and they got straps around it. They're headed to the shop because they just messed up their equipment and it's unusable. So if you're the type of person that's maybe accident prone, or you're going to some really tight areas, I would recommend a side kit. They're a lot cheaper. They don't stick out wider because if you notice this, if you look here, you'll see you got your standard track, and you got your rub rail right here. Your rub rail stops right here. Then this track right here bolts on the outside of that, and then your tarp sits outside of that. So you're adding almost, what is it, your standard 102 is now, with this tarp, is 109, I think. Because, it adds on quite a bit of weight. So you can't see, or quite a bit of width. You can't see the back of your trailer driving down the road. You got to almost wiggle your wagon to see your red light in the back. Typically you just know where the end of your trailer is, and, for changing lanes, whatnot. But yeah, that's just, I'd say sorry for the mess, but I'm not sorry. This is a working piece of equipment. It's not a show truck. It's a work truck. My truck's dirty. I go to steel mills. If I washed my truck and spent $120 and got her all shined up, dolled up, ready to go, then the very next day I'm going to roll into a muddy steel mill and I wasted the money. In the wintertime, I go in and get the salt and road grime blown off 2 or 3 times, 4 times through the winter, just to keep stuff from rusting. But if you see a steel hauler out there that's got a shiny, beautiful truck, that is a dedicated man that does not mind giving up his rest breaks for polishing his chrome and aluminum rims. I quit doing that over 2 decades ago. I don't need a shiny truck to make money. I make just as much money, if not more, with my dirty truck than they do with their clean truck. So, yep. Okay, I just want to do a quick overview of the inside of my wagon and enjoy the chaos. Oh, hey, quick shout out. I had 2 subscribers. Well, I'll do that in another video here. All right, talk to y'all later. Any questions that you have? This channel is all about communication, spreading knowledge. I've got 25 years in the industry. I've been doing this a long time. I've learned a lot of stuff, and I ask myself, hey, how can I help others below me achieve what I've achieved? And it took me 25 years to learn what I know today, and I could spread that knowledge for free instead of talking to 1 or 2 guys. Now I can talk to, I guess it could be thousands, tens of thousands, who knows? Depends on how goofy I am and how well the message is received. You never know. But any questions at all, man? Flatbedding, general trucking. I've done quite a bit of things, in 25 years. I've pulled reefer, tanker, dry box. Now I switched over to flatbed. But yeah, any questions? How you get started? I'll do a series of videos on all kinds of information. It's not just, hey, look at me, how great I am. The whole purpose of this channel is to give back, to give on, pass the knowledge that I have forward, and help a guy not make the mistakes that I made. Save him a ton of money and a ton of time. Cut that yield curve down, learning curve down. So if any questions at all, you're looking to get into the trucking business, you want to know what's the best way to start, blah, 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 post it in the comments, man. Put your questions down there. That's what this channel's about. I love talking, as you can tell. I can talk all day. Eventually I get enough subscribers. Hopefully I can do live videos and just have communications. I've got all kinds of great ideas for this channel. So let's do it, man. Any questions you got, post them in the comments. I'll read them, and get a little time, I'll grab a random question or 2 and make a quick video and throw it up there. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for coming. Thanks. We'll see y'all later.